All right. All right. Inesa, thank you for coming on. I appreciate having you today. You are the founder and CEO of your own company. Do you care to, well, obviously you care. Can you tell me a little bit more about your company? You dabble in the CBD business, am I correct? So,
Yes, it is. I would say hemp business, but thank you so much for having me here today. And
mhm,
yes, I'm the founder and CEO of Nesa's Hemp, and we are the first biological product on the market that represents the truth, cannabinoids, and the raw living version of the plant instead of synthetic CBD version that most products are on the market. So yes, that's a little bit about me, I guess. Besides that, I do work as a health coach. My passion is coming from saving my mom from cancer. I travel the world to know the truth of cancer and
mhm.
spend 27,000 hours on research with top genius brains in the world. So when I discovered,
27,000 hours. Wow.
yes, tens of thousands of hours by now.
I would say that quite literally makes you an expert in this field.
Absolutely. I don't feel like I know everything, but I do know enough to produce results in people's lives daily.
Mhm.
So that makes me feel better. But there's always a desire to know more. So I use my shower time properly, and I always listen something that can improve me or my brain or any of my knowledge.
For sure. Now, say I obviously don't have any skin in the game with CBD or hemp. What's differentiates you from other people in this market? Like that's what I really want because I've looked you up and I would like to know more about it. Like what the differential the differential aspects of you compared to other people in the market.
What we do, entire market doesn't want you to know about this.
Mm,
And that's why sometimes it's hard to spread the message. And even myself, I go a lot on media and I appear on TV, and even TV and top mainstream media doesn't want you to know what I'm about to share. So what's different? Absolutely everything is different because what the whole market is doing is completely wrong. And there's two parts of being wrong. Number one, products are synthetic. CBD itself doesn't exist in the plant. There is no CBD in the hemp plant, and there is no THC in the hemp plant. And another truth is that we never had CBD extractions or THC hundreds of years ago in a plant. We had like a plant with very low levels of THCA and CBDA, and those levels were strong enough for human body to fire up your endocannabinoid system that we will talk in a minute. So what do I mean by that? That means the plants on the market are grown, are completely re-engineered in the laboratories by their genetics, and these genetics has nothing to do with the plant we had hundreds or thousands of years ago. So again, that is the second part of how we're different, and the third part is since industry, it's literally has zero regulations. That means you as a business owner, you're welcome to put anything you wish for in that bottle and market and label as a CBD, and you're never going to be accountable. Nobody's going to judge you for that. There's no law, there's no regulations to keep you accountable for that. So that means if you test these products on the market the way I did when I was looking for a good brand to work with my clients and the patients and very ill people, what I recognized when I tested these products were positive for mold, a lot of them loaded with metals, heavy metals, pesticides, herbicides, bacteria, mildew, all that stuff. So all these microtoxins are deadly and dangerous for us. And these products, first of all, coming from mutated genetics that never existed in a mother nature. The second is products are actually reproduced So they turn into this CBDA into CBD, which is a synthetic patentable version by pharmaceutical companies. They own the CBD market. You think it's free? No, it's not, because the CBD, if you're gonna go on Google, it tells you it's a patented by Food and Drug Administration as a drug for epilepsy. It's called Epidiolex. So that means CBD is not natural, because you can't patent natural compounds. Like you can't patent spinach or apple, it belongs to people. So in order to patent something, it gotta be like a second version or manipulated version of that original compound. So since CBD is a patented compound in molecule, so what happens is that itself tells you it's not natural, and if it's not natural, then what it is. And on the top, of course, it's very hard to grow hemp plant in clean version, because the hemp plant itself is a soil cleaner. So if you want to keep the hemp for medicinal purposes, you have to grow extremely carefully, and it takes years to prepare the soil. It takes years to get genetics ready. And it's a lot of investment and lots of patience, and no companies want to do that with no return back in the first couple of years. So there's a lot of differences, as I said, but it's the whole education needed in the industry.
Okay, so let me stop you for a second. So are you telling me that most people, like I myself, if I were to go to just any local store, buy something that just says hemp oil or CBD oil, trying to get the effects of it, basically I'm just paying for a BS product that just slaps a name on it, and I'm not getting any use out of it. I'm just wasting my money. Is that correct?
Especially if they don't have that little number on the bottom of the
Okay.
oil that represents exactly what's in that specific bottle in parts per billion. Yes, most likely 99% you're buying BS. And if the product is labeled as a CBD, 100% you're buying not just BS, but synthetic pharmaceutical version of this drug. It's called CBD. So
Really?
CBD is not absolutely.
Wow. See, and that's mind blowing, because everywhere you go now, everything's labeled CBD, CBD, CBD. So that's just mind blowing.
This thing, it's what is the trick? Because in the beginning, when I was investigating this whole industry, I was thinking how it's come the pharmaceutical companies and the government allowed it all these people freely start using this CBD product. And this is what happened when they passed the law to actually have legal 0 point THC and CBD levels across the country. What happened almost the same time, a little bit early, they passed the law and they also patented CBD as a drug. So CBD became a drug first. So that means pharmaceutical companies owns this drug. It's called CBD, Epidiolex, for epilepsy. If it's that compound, that molecule belongs to them. I mean, and they already start calling out the CBD companies because they allowed it, all these people to promote the product, like it's called free marketing, right? Spread the word. And now pharmaceuticals going to take over and say, no, it belongs to us. We always owned this compound. It's not natural, but it belongs to us. So we're going to control the market as always, just like with every other drug on the market. But the thing they don't want you to know, that's exactly what we have in the Nesa's hemp. It's the CBDA. It's 1,000 times stronger. It's
Really?
way more effective. And
Okay.
empowers your endocannabinoid system that we will talking about in a minute way more effectively and way stronger.
Okay. Now what exactly is that going to do for you?
So another thing that your audience will definitely gonna learn today, and this information is scientifically proven in every country, and they also don't want you to know about this because I can't push this message in any possible form and shape on any media channels. So what they don't want you to know, that God designed your body in a very beautiful way. That means you can really help your body to overcome all kinds of conditions of health if you provided the right tools. And your body is capable of recovering, producing new cells, and just helping for you to live this life. So the one thing they forgot to mention in any kind of type of medical schools, and even for children in regular schools, they don't teach you in biology, that all of us are born, it's called endocannabinoid system. And this endocannabinoid system is responsible to control all other systems in your body, including your vision, your liver, your kidneys, your spleen, your gut. I mean, that system is like holds all systems in the body, including your central nervous system. So now, when you're born, you have, it's called endocannabinoid system. God gave you just the way he gave you your liver, heart, and everything else. This system is doing an amazing job to producing cannabinoids. It's like mimic of cannabinoid. It's basically cannabinoid. They just, in the human body, they appear a little bit differently, but it is a mimic of cannabinoid, the same cannabinoid that is in the original hemp plant. So that system produces those cannabinoids, right? And those cannabinoids are every day running all over your body and regulating you, make sure you're healthy, you're happy, you're strong, and you're just good going through this life. But when you get exposed to toxins, damaged water, stress, toxic food, that system is start tearing up in the part. That means all other hundreds of systems start getting affected by that, because that one system is responsible for many other systems, right?
Right. Okay.
If you affect the main guy that's responsible for the army, to lead the army, that if the guy is gone, the strategic guy is gone, you can't lead the army. So that's exactly what your stress does. When you go to the doctor, your doctor that is very smart, it tells you that you're actually getting older, and that's totally fine. But he forgot to tell you, if you remove those toxins, or if you empower your own endocannabinoid system, you can actually become healthier again, and you don't have to worry about your age. So with that being said, those are facts. This is not something I discovered. There's like a scientist that discovered 40 years ago that I personally worked with until they passed away. So with that being said, those are science, it's proven facts, and that's the fact that they don't want you to know. Because if we had people today, all of them empowering their own endocannabinoid system, their own production in the body, probably half the country will be off the pills.
That would not be good for pockets, that's for sure.
That tells you something.
Yeah, right. So what gets you started in something like this? And I say that because, I mean, everybody has their own. There's always usually like some sort of pain point that happens with somebody. I take myself when it comes to fitness. I didn't grow up like loving fitness or loving dieting or any of that. I was fat. So I was like, there came to a point where I was like, I got to do something. And then you just fall into it. So can you just tell me a little bit how you got started into this?
Absolutely. I think it's really important for people to understand, because every time, especially for the people that purchase our products, I promise this to everybody all the time. I said their integrity is not something we will ever settle. That's just mission impossible. So where my pain is coming from, it's funny you mentioned that, because it is pain. It was pain. And where the mission was born because of this pain. I personally was very, very sick my entire life, and I just couldn't get 2 + 2 together and figured out how to get myself healthier. So with that being said, more doctors I visited, more emergency rooms I had, more pills I took, worse I got for the long term. So that led me to figure out what I'm doing wrong, because I'm following everything what I'm supposed to follow. Take the pill, go to see the doctor every time things wrong, and it got to the point like it's wrong every 2 weeks, like an entire year straight, and year after year you just become miserable. So I just start figuring out, it's like, I need to think outside the box. This whole system is no longer serving me, because I'm about to die as a young 25-year-old girl. So with that being said, I started looking for some alternatives, and just by changing my diet, start working out, quitting weekend social drinking, which is I did for a couple of years in my whole life anyways, but still just like focusing more, like changing the lifestyle, that led me to few little changes here and here. And I got so excited because I started improving, and I said, I'm so happy and I'm just gonna stick with something that helps me to improve. And I changed. Within 1 year, I was completely recovered from my disease, and I had multiple situations going on in my body. So, but that wasn't enough to start this whole life transformation, I guess, and help million other people. What happened is my mother, she called me and she said she got cancer. And that was the moment where I knew I'm not going to do anything with pharmaceuticals. I'm not going to do chemo. I'm not going to do radiation for this woman. And I immediately knew that I want to actually put my whole life into cancer research and do whatever it takes to save my mom and use that knowledge to help other people. And that's exactly what happened. I never slept again since that my mother's diagnosis. She was given 6 months left to live, but 4 months later she was cancer free. So she's happy, healthy today, and it's been years now, no chemo, no radiation. So, but that did not help me to start Nesa's Hemp. What happened is I was just working with other people and helping and spending time on research and continuously helping other people. So what I learned, anything that's labeled, whatever the companies label you for, that doesn't mean that's what it is. So what I learned, that I need to know what's in the inside for myself, if it's a probiotic, if it's water, if it's essential oils. So with that being said, I had to really know the truth, what's in these bottles. So knowing how hemp was essential to our bodies and how our bodies can function even without hemp plants. And I knew that industry is not regulated, so I felt like even bigger responsibility to know what's in these CBD labeled bottles.
Right.
So I went pretty deep.
As you usually do whenever you're like really passionate about something, you go down all sorts of holes, rabbit holes, and you're just like, whoa, like there's so much that we just don't know and that we're being hidden from.
Exactly. And they didn't like me when I discovered all these dirty truth. Of course, people loves me for what I do, but the company owners and some CBD testing laboratories in this country, they don't like my face. And because I'm like a police officer for them, I just bring the truth. And if it's good or bad, we need to put this on the table. People need to know and stop lying, because we have too many sick people in this country, including children, which just really makes me upset and sick to the point. So what happened is I just decided to interview all the top label companies in America, and I set the phone calls. I did the phone calls, and I got the permission to visit their facilities one day if I will decide. That was a white lie I did for all of them. And I said, what if I'll visit you? Can I really check the quality for myself? And they said, yeah, no problem. And I really created this long list. I backpacked myself and I jumped on the plane and I went from state to state and I visited all of them, and I picked the samples from soil samples, batch samples of the bottles. And some companies didn't want to let me in. And I said, what if you promised me? I said, a couple of months ago, you said I can come in if I wanted to. So they just didn't feel comfortable. And I knew if somebody's not feeling comfortable, then what do you have to hide? And if you have something to hide, then it's not something that I want to really discuss with you, because I'm not going to be able to trust you. And if I can't trust you, I don't want these other people to trust you, because they don't even have time to travel to visit you and send these sample of CBD products to laboratories and pay for each of them, because I had to pay my own money, which is expensive, to test these companies and compare apples to apples, because they promised me amazing lab results. But then when I got my own lab results on the same products, I saw these companies are loaded with dangerous toxins. And that's the moment where I realized I'm stuck, like what I'm gonna do now. Because there's not single one company I could trust. And again, that was years ago. I picked top 17 companies in the country and I visited physically all of them. And I tested all of them. I sent it to the lab. So it's not they tell me what's in the bottle. I knew for myself what's in the bottle.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, did you have to put up your own capital to start your own thing, like your own like research laboratories and all of that?
Absolutely. The hardest was to finding the farmer who is willing to create the first biological soil and to decide and to agree to work with no profits for the first couple of years, because I literally had like a script and I was knocking each door. I picked all these organic farmers across the country and I knocked at the door and I said, in the first couple of years, I said, my name is Inesa. I said, I want to create the best product on the market, starts with the seed and soil. I said, we're not going to make any money first couple of years, but we're going to have the best soil, the best seeds, the best product. I said, we're going to create what's the best for people. Are you willing to work with me? And every farmer said no. And I understand some of them have families to raise and feed their children. I get it. You have to pay your bills. But then I met this wonderful farmer who said, I don't care if I make money or not, as long as we do what's right for people and humanity. He says, I'm fine. And I said, we're in the business. We just need to make this official now on piece of paper. So yeah, it took us a couple of years to develop a beautiful soil that just soil itself. I can talk for weeks nonstop what we've done with the soil. I mean, we literally have a soil the way we had thousands of years ago, full of microbes. There's no any kind of possible toxins coming in from anywhere. So just that itself made a huge difference in our processing and the product effectiveness.
Nice. Okay, so what sort of obstacles have you been up against since releasing that product? Because I imagine, a couple people have taken it like, oh, this stuff is really, really good. And so whenever there's a product that's really, really good, there's always met with all sorts of resistance. So can you just name some things that you've been up against so far?
I'm smiling because these things against me literally every single day until today. It didn't stop.
Mm.
What happened is the world knows we have the most powerful product. My product is purchased by FDA facilities for the testing purposes every couple months. And they trying to find something bad with me. It's just not going to happen because we strive for perfection. We strive for the things and limits, and we exceed any organic standard in this country. In fact, we're creating our own beyond organic standard that I think everyone should be, just like we had thousands of years ago. I don't believe in any toxin, any chemical. I believe in nature and in nature's power. So what happened is it's challenging because Google is doing certain things,
Mm.
and our marketing, we also not allowed to advertise. With that being said, the biggest challenge it really
But
happened
do you
when
mind if I stop you real quick? So you're telling me Google won't allow you to advertise any of this with like
no,
Google ads, none of
no,
that?
no, we don't allow to advertise at all.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
There is no advertising for Nestle's hemp. I mean, people love the product because they see the benefits,
Mhm.
and they're just amazed. So they are our advertisers, the people that purchase the product and change their lives for better. But yeah, no traditional mainstream advertising.
Okay.
And another challenge is, I think the biggest was when, first of all, pharmaceuticals and companies that like to patent things and keep the control over, they don't want people to know about the CBDA, because CBDA, first of all, is essential to your body and your body can function without, and is not patentable, just like apple, spinach, and pineapple. So that means everybody should be able to purchase legally and empower their bodies. And if we're going to do that process, that means half of the country or 70% of the country will get off the pills, medications. And if that happens, we're going to lose our economy. So because this economy is built on a lot of sick people. So with
Yes.
that being said, it's really like a threat for entire economy. I know I'm speaking very strong, big words, but if you look at the numbers, how the percentage wise, how many people or disease bringing, how much money we bring in economy, it's crazy. It's like literally half of our economy is disease. So with that being said, if we give something to people, just imagine if I told you your spinach empowers your endocannabinoid system. And if that system works perfectly great, that means you're going to feel great. You don't need pills. So that is a threat for them. So they don't like me. And I'm fine with that because I'm here for people. I'm not here for the big guys.
Right.
But the biggest challenge, what really happened when COVID came out, and within a couple months or 9 months or so, we had the research coming out from Oregon. That research stated that not a CBD or THC products, but CBDA specifically and CBGA, that's exactly what we have in Nesa's hemp, was shown, scientifically proven to prevent people to get COVID. So that
Really?
means, yes.
No, I
And
can't imagine. I cannot imagine too many people are want to talk about that or open to that. Just the fact that you put those two sentences together, people are like, whoa, 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 can't do this. So
you asked me about challenges. I'm telling you,
I'm all for you talking about that. Like, please, like, go right ahead. I'm like, that's fascinating stuff.
it is fascinating. And that's probably the most fascinating thing, because when news find out that we have a solution, you remember how the whole world was shaking and like, we don't know what's going on. Vaccines is about to start. It's already started. Right on the vaccine starting moment. What happened is we got announced as a solution to prevent people from COVID. And guess what happened? Since not single one company was producing a CBDA product, all the news channels found me on Google and they Googled CBDA companies. Of course, Nesa's hemp popped up and they all start calling me. So my PR department was so busy, my director like booking these calls, because I had NBC, ABC, like all these major stream media channels trying to interview me why I'm selling CBDA while the whole country sells the CBD. And guess what happened? On my 8-minute interviews with ABC or NBC channel, forget, one of those affiliates from Denver, I had the whole full recording, 8 minutes on the screen. Guess what happened? Because I spoke the truth, because I spoke what else that plant does to your body, how empowers your endocannabinoid system, how helps you not just COVID, but everything else in your body. And guess what happened? They decided to remove my whole video speech, and they put few things in writing, whatever they decided to write, and the whole interview was like worthless. So it got censored immediately. And yes, some of the media channels were able to translate the message, but after I saw what this channel did, I'm like, there's no reason to even speak. Like, why I'm speaking and wasting my 8 minutes on each episode on this news, and some of them live streaming news, why I can't across the message. The message will be designed for people to hear differently. So it made me upset, because we basically became a solution. So that was like, do you want the vaccine that is only God knows if it's safe and effective, and do you want something that's natural, that in fact is produced in your own body by your own endocannabinoid system and belongs to you, and God wants you to have it? Except there's two versions of this plant and this bottle and this product on the market. So that was a problem. So that was another challenge. That's the moment where the world find out about us, but all my competitors, everybody start producing CBDA products within 2 weeks. And I'm like, how you guys did it in 2 weeks? It took me 2 years just to develop the soil. Like it took
Right.
me 2 years to get the whole soil ready. Like you can't make this product in 2 weeks. It doesn't work. So everybody start again re-engineering only God knows what.
So it's just another BS product that's out there. It's not.
I'm surprised somebody can do this in 2 weeks. I mean, I wish I knew this instead me going to the blood and tears for 2 years. Like I wish there was a way for to do it in 2 weeks. I would do it too.
Mhm.
Correct way. It's always the integrity question, right?
Right. No kidding. So now when you're up against that, obviously, like, all right, we have the real deal here. If people or the mainstream is just ready to shut this down immediately, you have something here. So with that, dude, what else did you do to be able to get this word across? Because there's only a certain amount of people at that time, or still at this time, that are really comfortable talking about this kind of stuff. So what else were you able to do?
I really teach my people because we do have a quite a big audience. And as I said, for me, the one thing I chose is results.
Mm,
I build all my cases based on results. When you have a results, people can call me lucky. The first doctors I remember when I was helping cancers to become free and sharing my knowledge. First thing cancers, people say, oh my gosh, you just got lucky. Oh, God loves you and he did miracle in your life and you were able to help these 10 people to become cancer free. But when I reached like pretty high numbers and of the same evidence over and over again, and I'm doing the same thing with my product. I'm just helping people to see the results and allow results to speak, because for them to fight with them, it is possible, but it's mission impossible. Because first of all, they don't allow you to speak about, they don't even allow me to educate you about your own endocannabinoid system. Forget about CBD products,
mm,
forget about hemp products, forget about THC, none of that stuff they're promoting that's dangerous. I'm talking about, they don't allow me to educate you about your own receptors and what function do they do in your body. It's illegal. It's literally federally illegal for me to educate you. It's almost, I would say, for me, it's illegal to educate you on your own heart functionality or your liver.
interesting. So if it's illegal, how were you able to do the research yourself?
Because what happened is this plant, it's been suppressed for only 100 years from the moment pharmaceuticals came and said, you know what, let's own the world. Let's figure out how we can make this happen. So we had this plant on the history for thousands of years. We've been using, even Jesus was using this plant to actually wash people's feet and give people. But do you think Jesus was extracting CBD with solvents and chemicals and all the growing with mold and metal? No, it was all natural version. Do you think it was going and genetically modifying seeds and turning low levels of THCA into high levels of THC, which is now these children are using this THC and blowing up their brains? So sadly, as I said, like we have very misguided information about this plant for the last 100 years. But there is information, if you're really gonna go deep, the way I did, behind the scenes, we can trace it back, this information. Again, it's not going to be on your mainstream. You might need to connect with people overseas and hire translators and talk to the experts. Some of them are still alive, and kind of trace it down from there. But it's possible. Everything, if you want to make it happen, is possible. It's just not on surface level.
Right. Right. No kidding. So that being said, do you only sell this stuff like on your personal website? Has anybody come out of the woodworks? They've seen this stuff works and be like, hey, how can we sell you what you have to offer? Because we see this stuff works. It's fantastic. We want to work with you. Have you had that happen, or how's that possibility for someone that not just me, but somebody listening to this wants to get in contact with you on that? Is that a viable option?
Oh yeah, we absolutely we love our partnerships and we support them in very high level.
Mhm.
So partnerships, we have beautiful affiliate programs that are very honest. You see your own dashboards, we have cookies, and things like that. But no, we have a way to work with people. We do work, for example, I work with a couple doctors. They do plastic surgeries. I'm not pro that, but there's a woman would like to do, and again, who I am to judge.
Right,
So, but they also have the best reviews because after surgery, he tells these women to actually take our product and it heals the tissues almost immediately. So he literally has the best reviews for like recovery in Chicago. Like all his reviews is like, I have the fastest recovery. I've done this surgery before. It took me 4 weeks to recover. And this surgeon and this doctor, I did it 2 weeks recover. So we cut off the recovery time just by using Nesa's hemp products, right? Because as I said, that system, that endocannabinoid system is responsible to regulate all the systems. If it's a healing, it helps with inflammation, it helps with sleep, recovery. Athletes are using, I'm working personally with UFC athletes, the most famous names in the world. And again, they're not gonna tell the other UFC athlete because they are in competition to
right,
fight.
right,
At
right,
the end of the day, those are my clients, and they're the ones promoting to their friends in different category because some of them are like higher weights, some of them are lower weights, or like females. So they're sharing with their male friends, but we do promote the product through the cross marketing, I would say, sharing with other people. Absolutely. We have multiple relationships in place that people can choose to work with us.
awesome. Okay, so now that I've letting you get some of these things out here, I want to go back to one question, and I'm sure this is going to be on everybody's mind listening to this, is how does your product prevent COVID? Because I'm sure someone's going to ask that.
If there's entire, I believe, 30-page research paper. If you're gonna go and just simply Google Oregon study COVID-19/CBDA,
Mhm.
you're gonna find entire study. It's like pages of pages, but it blocks the receptors that actually help to enter spike protein in the human body. So what CBDA, based on that study, it blocks the receptors that actually does not allow to spike protein to enter your body and infect you with COVID.
Hmm, okay, and that's basically the very short answer, like all condensed.
We have a long answer, but as I said, it's a
Right,
beautiful study done and you can read. And we try to summarize it, but for some people, but then again, if somebody wants for like scientific purposes, they're welcome to read the whole research. But if somebody wants short answer, it's literally blocks these receptors for the spike protein to enter your body. And from the moment that receptor is blocked, like that's it. Like there is no COVID can enter you and you can't be infected. But also, I believe in the high immunity. If you have a high immunity, you can be able to fight COVID.
right, which is what a lot of people, including myself, were just telling people, if you just take care of yourself, for the most part, you're going to be okay. And just so much pushback just from that, you know. But now here's another question. So does your product, if somebody has COVID, somebody takes your product, will it clear it up? Like that's
I don't want to make any claims, but I can share with you my experiences.
okay. Yes.
I worked with many COVID patients, including my entire family and
Mhm.
clients, and people are sick. Um, the shortest scenario I seen, if you take people that took Nessus and ivermectin, these people literally start seeing results anywhere from 9 minutes to half an hour. Very heavy mutated cases, it took 6 to 9 hours to see results. But I'm talking about, I even have people who stop me on the street. It's like, are you Inesa? It's like, are you Inesa's hemp? It's like, yeah, you don't understand. The Dr. Judy Mikovits gave me to take ivermectin and your product. I was like sitting like paralyzed in my car within 9 minutes. I walking out from my car like nothing happened. I said, can I record this? I said, can I keep this as a testimonial, because I don't even know who you are, but like I
Mhm.
like to know the stories. Like, I said, how do you know me? It's like, because I see your face on the brochures and on the company, and I was so curious to know about the product, because this product helped me so much. So again, I shared and I seen all kinds of scenarios, but I seen anywhere from people reporting from 9 minutes to 6 to 9 hours, where people feel completely different, like 90% different.
Wow, that's 9 minutes. Just even like 9 hours. If I were to tell somebody like, hey, you take this product, you're gonna get better within 9 hours. Who's not gonna want to sign up for that? Who's not? You would
As I
have
said,
to.
ivermectin was very big, big
Oh,
topic where they didn't want people to know. I know that most people use it in combination, ivermectin with Nesas, and it personally worked like miracles. My mom too, she was getting COVID and she was here in the United States. So
mhm.
I just, mom, take a full warm glass of, water with ivermectin. And I gave her full 2 droppers of Nessa's. And within half an hour, she came downstairs asking for food after she couldn't move and she was laying upstairs. So it took her 30 minutes to feeling way better, 50-70% improvement within 30 minutes. That was my personal mom in my own home. So
Wow, no kidding. Now, what other social media platforms are you on?
I try not to be on any, but I'm kind of forced to be on some. So because of the nature of the business, and people do get to want to get in touch with us. And so Inesa, if you put like my full name, Inesa Ponomariovaite, you can find us on actually Instagram. We also have Nesa's Hemp platform for social medias like Facebook and also Instagram accounts. But if somebody wants to reach out, Nesa's Hemp, and reaching out to customer service and live chat on the Nesa's Hemp website, that's probably the easiest way to do it. We have a great customer support that helps to answer all the questions pretty shortly.
Right. Awesome. Is there anything else that you would like to say about your product? Because I mean, it's from what I've heard, I'm pretty blown away about it. And
I would like to say that few things. Number
yeah,
one,
please.
our products, everything what I said, I know probably for some people sounded like not from this world, because I see these reactions all the time. Like, what do you mean? So I've been misguided? Like 90% of people lying to us? Like, yeah,
Mhm.
sorry. But what I say to back up my words, we are actually the most certified quality product on the market from over 10,000 brands in America, from CBD brands. In order to prove my words, like if you purchase the product, on the bottom of the bottle,
Mhm.
there's a little number, and that number is attached to our website. And if you type in that number, you can get the lab results, which is we do in parts per billion from every microtoxin, to prove that that bottle that you're holding in your hands is 100% safe, clean, and effective, which is extremely extensive lab testing that no one in the country is doing. And also it's a very expensive one. That also increases our prices to provide quality and safety for people. So that's probably to really understand for people, like, I'm not here to promote something, I'm here to really say what we have to say really works, but at the same time you have a way to check the lab results yourself. And most important is, if you buy any other CBD products, make sure you ask for those lab results, and ask people not just to show you what's in the bottle in terms like medicinal portfolio, like cannabinoids, but
Mhm.
ask them to show you from mold, from microtoxins. Those are dangers, and those are can be deadly in the long term. So make sure your each bottle or any product you ever take, even supplements, make sure you are provided with very extensive lab work.
For sure. For sure. Oh, is there anything else that you, because I mean, there's just so much to talk about with this thing. Like it's just not only from how your product works, but just an awareness part. Because like I said, someone like me, I'll just walk into a store like, oh, CBD. Oh, like this has got to be, I hear about it, but no idea that what I'm taking is pretty much complete BS.
No, there's no regulations. They can literally put whatever they want unless they really care about you and they really want you to do well more than anything in life. That's the only one way they will put something legit in the bottles, because there's no accountability. There's no, they assuming that customers should know better. That's why I educate the customers and I educate the audience. If you decided to buy any kind of type of product, make sure it's really tested in parts per billion from every microtoxin mold for that specific bottle, not the batch from 5 years ago. Only God knows which bottle and what kind of lab results. That lab result number, like it has to say it like a serial number, should
Mm.
match your bottle's serial number. If those numbers don't match and the lab doesn't attach to your specific bottle, you can't purchase this product. I'm sorry. I mean, I personally work with the laboratories across the country,
Mm.
and labs consistently asking you, how do you want numbers to be? Do you want to be positive for mold or negative for mold? Just pay us $150 and we will adjust these numbers the way you want it to. So even labs are not providing correct results. So I had to find a white lab in this country that's willing to do what's right 24/7. Like this lab that I personally work with, it's called ACS Laboratories. They're in Florida. And these guys are not selling their integrity. They told me, one of the managers, her name is Marsha, so she said, Inesa, we're losing 40 to 50% of CBD clients every month. I said, how are you guys losing CBD clients? You guys have the largest testing FDA registered laboratory. And she said, because these CBD clients asking us to adjust the numbers when they come positive for dangerous substances, they asking us to turn into negative so they can
Mhm.
provide consumer the good and nice and clean lab report. And we told them we're not going to do it. And from the moment we tell them we're not going to do it, and we ask them to adjust their batches, to adjust their products in terms quality and safety, and since they're not willing to do that, we have to tell them we can't test their products, or we're going to show exactly what's in the bottles.
I don't think a lot of people realize just how big that is. And it's not just in your industry, it's in everywhere. Like any regulation that has to do with quality control, just how far, people will pay just to get it okayed. And I still
But
don't
think
think a lot of people understand just how like they say a lot of these industries are regulated, but they're so unregulated. It's a
no,
big problem.
but that's what they make the money from, you not knowing. That's why they don't like people like me who's coming and educating you how to become smarter and make better decisions. Because when you know better, you're not going to support them by buying and giving them your money. And if you're not going to give them their money, your hard worked money, that means they gonna start losing power. And where are they losing the power? Because now you know better. So that's why they don't like any kind of type of education, because less you know, more money they make. More you know, then you're not gonna get their money.
Mm-hmm. For sure. For sure. And it's like it's an uncomfortable thing as because I don't want to like necessarily bring like something that's off topic into this topic, but just how aware, to bring people's awareness is. Yesterday I saw that movie that everybody's been talking about, Sound of Freedom. And so it's like it had nothing to do with any political thing at all. And there was a nice message at the end of it. It's basically support it for somebody else that see it so that awareness can be brought about just how big a problem this is. And immediately yesterday, I saw something in media that was shutting it down, making it like a QAnon thing, like just a conspiracy. And it just like, it baffles my mind. If anything that is relevant that people need awareness how much the media will just go out of its way to discredit it. It's such a big
Same corporations that owns Pfizer. So let's just, if you want to really talk about names, BlackRock owns, by the way, BlackRock is very censored word. I don't know if you know that. They
Yes.
really put you in the red box and they track you for months for mentioning one time BlackRock. So, but the BlackRock owns both channels of media, CNN and Fox. The BlackRock owns Pfizer. BlackRock is the largest, also the shareholders for all the Disney, Hollywood, like all that stuff. So like BlackRock literally owns the largest percentages for the main companies that controls food, television, medicine, and school systems. And so how you can escape that? Like it's, I mean, so of course it's going to be suppressed. Sound of Freedom, I was one of the first people to actually watch this. I was literally, they released it on 4th of July and first movie, and I was the first one. I donated money to make sure as many people's watching it. I also promote it so much, make sure I'm very aware of the human trafficking. I've been targeted 3 times. One time I almost got sold for human slavery or sex slavery. I don't know where they want to put me, but I'm very aware, and that's actually one of the reasons why Nesa's hemp is different, that we not making me rich or my employees, or by the way, all our employees are absolutely passionate about helping people. They care about you more than probably your neighbor. So with that being said, Nesa's hemp is different because portion of our funds we literally putting back to the world, whatever we can financially, to make sure we're stopping these all the darkness, all this bad stuff is happening. So human trafficking is one of my biggest passions. And also I got censored the same way because I released an email last year for Christmas for all Nesa's hemp buyers, and I said, customers, I said, thank you so much for purchasing this product. And I shared like mini video where their money going through. Like I said, thank you for supporting me all these causes, and including stop human trafficking and sex trafficking. And I got censored from all the mailing platforms for mentioning a word human trafficking. But I didn't say I'm gonna traffic somebody. I just said that I want to thank you for being part of and buying Inesa's hemp, because that helps me to put portion of the funds to actually send and protect children and women. So you see, I got censored for thanking people for helping me to support a good cause.
Right. It's
And all my platforms were shut and my business were shut. Like all my mailing systems were shut.
yeah. And I think another thing that a lot of people aren't, well, they're aware, but they just don't realize it's happening to everybody, is the censorship. It's happening to so many people. And a buddy of mine, he said, like, I'll never forget it. He said, because one thing that I had seen was my viewership and all this stuff on a social media platform had been stopped for like when the whole COVID thing come out, because all I had said was just, an awareness of basically just take care of yourself. And so he was telling me that, yeah, that they pretty much censored you, man. Like there's no doubt about it. And so I was like, well, how? Who am I? I'm a nobody. Like, why would they do that? And he said, because they're going to make sure that you're a nobody. You're going to stay a nobody. And I was like, most people are just not aware that it don't matter who you are. They will find a way, just all through the key words that you just mentioned. They will get you.
Mm-hmm.
It's
But end of the day, you think if you live and you're afraid for speaking the truth, then I prefer not to live at all.
right.
And
100%.
that's what thing can stop, and that's what they say you become very dangerous. If you don't care about the money and you don't care about the dying, then you become dangerous for them. For example, I tell people all the time, if for me to speak in the truth and consistently saving people's lives, children's lives, and doing what's the best for humanity is gonna cause something, I'm fine with that. Of
Hmm.
course, I'll do what it takes to prevent me, but I'm fine with that because at least I accomplished my mission on this world. I can go at nighttime sleep knowing that I have a solutions for these people not to suffer and to live better lives. Because I was suffering too, my mom was suffering, all of us are suffered. And I don't want people go through this. And if that's what it takes, so as I said, I can't go sleep knowing that I have a solution and someone needs that right now. So
100%.
it's a personal choice. It's yes, it is a war zone. It is can become scary sometimes. I never gonna forget when I got involved with my Navy SEALs very close and to with human trafficking to stop human trafficking. And I was providing certain files and whatever. I was doing some projects here in Chicago, and it got dangerous. It got to the point where I wasn't alone 24/7.
Wait,
I was
did you say
sitting.
Navy SEALs? You were working with Navy SEALs? Is that what you said?
Yes, yes, I
Okay,
was an amazing Navy SEALs.
nice.
Mhm.
So, I mean, we don't have to get too much into that. That's a personal subject for sure. But just wow, yeah, that is that is amazing.
But you know what's amazing when you saved someone's life, if it's children, if it's adults, if it's, as I said, health is something what I'm passionate because I truly know we don't have to be sick. I
Mhm.
provided these evidence 1,000 times now, and that's based on my own evidence. I'm not a doctor to treat or cure any disease, but just by sharing my knowledge and working with these people, everyone is walking happy, free disease life. So it's worth it, it's really worth it. It's a beautiful fulfilling. It it makes you happy. And Navy SEALs is just my fun part, where as you mentioned, we use portion of our funds to create better humanity. So that's exactly what I do. But in the beginning, I was involved very direct, and that caused me to have a guests sitting on my butt almost 24/7.
Mhm.
So I had to kind of back up and to protect my safety and kind of slow down and to hand this mission to the more professionals like Navy SEALs. Yeah.
Gotcha, gotcha. All right. Again, where can people find you and go to you and your website?
It's Nesa's Hemp, NESAS, Nesa's
Mhm.
Hemp, HEMP.com. It's truly the easiest way to reach out to us.
Okay. All right. Well,
Mhm.
that I'm running out of time, but thank you so much, Inesa, for coming on. I appreciate it. This is outstanding. Anybody who's anybody, I highly recommend that they check you out because just what you've told me is just phenomenal stuff.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to share with you people.
Oh, of
So
course.
stay blessed.
Yeah.